Mala.
Surarishinaya Katitam.
Surarishinaya Katitam.
Tavakena Katam Manyata Bhavati.
Tavakena Katam Manyata Bhavati.
Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna.
Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna.
Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha.
Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha.
Surarishinaya Katitam.
Surarishinaya Katitam.
Tavakena Katam Manyata Bhavati.
Tavakena Katam Manyata Bhavati.
Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna.
Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna.
Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha.
Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha.
Surarishinaya Katitam.
Surarishinaya Katitam.
Tavakena Katam Manyata Bhavati.
Tavakena Katam Manyata Bhavati. Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna. Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna. Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha. Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha. Surashinaya Katitam. Surashinaya Katitam. Tavakena Katamanyata Bhavati. Tavakena Katamanyata Bhavati. Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna. Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna. Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha. Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha. Surashinaya Katitam. Surashinaya Katitam. Tavakena Katamanyata Bhavati. Tavakena Katamanyata Bhavati. Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna. Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna. Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha. Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha. Surashinaya Katitam. Surashinaya Katitam. Tavakena Katamanyata Bhavati. Tavakena Katamanyata Bhavati.
Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna.
Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna.
Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha.
Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha.
Surashinaya Katitam.
Surashinaya Katitam.
Tavakena Katam Anyatha Bhavati.
Tavakena Katamanyata Bhavati.
Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna.
Atha Bhagavan Vayam Aduna.
Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha.
Tadavaloka Parimrishta Shayamalaha.
Surarishinaya Katitam.
Surashinaya Katitam.
Tavakena Katam Anyata Bhavati.
Tavakena Katamanyata Bhavati. Atha. Therefore, Bhagavan,
O Supreme Personality of Godhead,
O Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Vayam,
we,
Aduna, at the present moment,
at the present moment,
Avaloka,
Avaloka,
by seeing you, Parimrishta, wiped away,
Ashayamala,
contaminated desires in the heart,
contaminated desires in the heart,
Surarishina,
Surarishina,
by the great sage of the demigods,
by the great sage of the demigods,
Narada,
Narada,
Yat,
which
Katitam,
spoken,
Tavakena,
Tavakena,
who is your devotee,
Who is your devotee?
Katam,
how, Anyata, otherwise,
Bhavati,
can it be? Translation. Therefore, my dear Lord, simply seeing you has now wiped away all the contamination of sinful activities and the results of material attachment and lusty desires, which always filled my mind and the core of my heart. Whatever is predicted by the great sage Narada Muni cannot be otherwise. In other words, I have obtained your audience as a result of being trained by Narada Muni. personality God even within with one's own eyes. One only needs training. Atashi Krishna Namadi Navavedkraya Mindrei. With our blunt eyes and other senses, we cannot perceive the Supreme Personality of God. But if we engage our senses in the service of the Lord according to the instructions of authorities, it will be possible to see Him. As soon as one sees the Supreme Personality of God, all the sinful reactions in the core of one's heart are completely, certainly vanquished. So the verse again. Atha Bhagavan Vayamandana Tvadavaloka Parindishta Shayamada Sura Rishinaya Tatikam Tavakina Katam Manyata Bhavati. Therefore, my dear Lord, simply seeing you has now wiped away all the contamination of sinful activities and their results of material attachments and lusty desires, which always fill my mind and the core of my heart. Whatever is predicted by the great sage Narada Muni cannot be otherwise. In other words, I have obtained your audience as a result of being trained by Narada Muni. So this is a very nice verse describing that because King Chitraketu, he is, as you have known, you have gone through the pastimes here, that he didn't get a son, and then he got a son by the creation of Narada Muni and Parvata Muni. They came by and blessed him so that he could have a son, and then his son was called Harshashoka because he died very quickly and so on. And then he was given a mantra by Narada Muni, and by practicing this or chanting this mantra, he was eventually meeting the Supreme Lord. And actually the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such encounters. That devotees are meeting the Supreme Lord, eye to eye. So this is, in one sense, the goal of our lives, to meet the Supreme Lord. Of course, the demons, they also would like to meet the Lord, to kill him. But the devotee who is aspiring to become his servant, that is, of course, the highest achievement, or the highest thing to obtain, to have the darshan of the Supreme Lord. So we may, all these stories in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are like relating how the devotee, for example, we have Dhruva Maharaj. He was meeting the Lord after chanting Om Namo Bhagavate, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And we have Akrura also meeting the Supreme Lord when he goes to Vrindavan. And there's so many instances in Srimad Bhagavatam where they are meeting the Lord, the devotees. And of course, it is great for Akrura, for example. He was sent by Kamsa. Krishna had just killed Arishta, the Arishtasura, the bull demon, and then he killed the Kesha demon and the Vyomasura demon. So many demons he had killed, and then Kamsa sent Akrura to get Krishna and Balaram for this wrestling match. So then Akrura, he was very happy that he got this service from Kamsa. And so it is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Krishna book how he was anticipating, he was very looking forward of meeting the Supreme Lord, Krishna and Balaram. going down from the chariot and rolling on the ground in great ecstasy. It is described. And then when he actually meets Krishna and Balaram, he offers praise to them, and Krishna and Balaram, they are embracing him. So then we may wonder if we can ever meet Supreme Lord, are we qualified to meet Supreme Lord? And we are of course not qualified to meet Supreme Lord, but we have to have this faith that by following the instruction of the Spiritual Master, we will be able to eventually meet Supreme Lord. There are different ways to meet Supreme Lord. Everybody has some realization of the Supreme Lord. Even if you take prasadam and in the holy, chanting the holy names and kirtan and like that. So the Supreme Lord can reveal himself in different ways to the devotees. But actually to meet the Supreme Lord in person and speak to the Supreme Lord is quite special. So we may wonder if we are qualified, and of course we are not qualified. We are coming from the material world, and as Chitrakesh here is describing that when he meets the Supreme Lord, then he feels that all his contamination in the heart is wiped away. Contamination of sinful activities and the results of material attachment and lusty desires. So that is now wiped away. And then he says that because Narada Muni said, I haven't read it just now, but I can imagine that Narada Muni said that if you just chant this mantra with faith and this and that, then you will actually meet the Supreme Lord. And so then, whatever is predicted by the great sage Narada Muni, cannot be otherwise. I have obtained your audience as a result of being trained by Narada Muni. So then, we should have faith that in the same way as Narada Muni instructed Chitraketu, that if we are following the instructions of Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, our Spiritual Master, then we will also be able to have audience and meet the Supreme Lord eventually. And then, we are practicing devotional service. Also, the Spiritual Master is said to be the representative of the Supreme Lord. So we have to practice to honor him as much as the Supreme Lord. The Spiritual Master is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord, because he is the most confidential servant of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Therefore I should offer my respect to the obeisances until the Lord Spiritual Master is a bona fide representative of Sri Hari. So we have to actually honor the Spiritual Master as much as the Supreme Lord. Of course, we may not be able to honor the Supreme Lord. So it is like something that we have to learn by practicing the Spiritual Master. And then, as we understand Krishna's position, we will also understand the Spiritual Master's position. By time, we will understand more and more that actually he is the representative of the Supreme Lord, and therefore we have to give him as much honor and like that, as to the Supreme Lord. So in this way we can make advancement in spiritual life, and when we are following the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master. We are doing the sadhana, following the sadhana process, and we are serving by all these bona fide services, distributing books, distributing prasadam, and taking care of and worshipping the deities and like that. So we should have faith that by just doing that is actually pleasing to the spiritual master and to Krishna, and chanting our rounds, even though the mind may not be fully absorbed in the holy name. We should have faith that by chanting the holy names, we will become purified and eventually realize more and more Krishna. And this is Prabhupada is quoting here, Atashi Krishna Namari Nabhavitramidrai Sivamopi Jivadosamya. We cannot understand Krishna by non-material senses, but by using the tongue, which is the most important sense and most difficult to control, but using the tongue to chant the holy names and taste Krishna prasadam, then we will gradually understand who Krishna is. We cannot understand his name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes, with non-material senses. So this is it's a subtle, sublime thing to realize Supreme Lord. Very, very sublime, and the path of devotional service is compared to razor's edge. One has to be very, very careful. Always be, humble and meek, and so this may be tough for the false Jew to again and again not being up to the standard or up to what we think ourselves at least our performance in devotional service. We want to distribute more books, we want to give better classes, we want to lead better kirtan, and so one has to just continue, although we may not, come up to the platform where we actually want to be. So one has to be humble, and this is also a way to actually realize our true nature, that we are just humble servants and we are not masters. There is one Danish devotee. He asked his master, I want to distribute books, and I cannot understand if Krishna is all powerful. Why doesn't he let me distribute many books? I'm sincere. I want to distribute many books. I want to help people. Why doesn't Krishna let me distribute more books? And then the answer was that we are not God, and we should, just humbly try to serve. Of course, we should desire to distribute many books. This is, this is the desire of the spiritual master. But we also must understand we are limited. We are small, insignificant living entities. We are completely dependent on the Supreme Lord. So our performance in devotional life amongst the devotees may not be fantastic, but we have to understand that it is a school to understand that we are just humble, small, insignificant servants. And of course, sometimes we realize this, and it is wonderful when we realize that we are actually just very small and tiny, and Krishna is the great. And of course, this is also like the realization of purified, then we can understand, yes, I am just a humble servant of my spiritual master and of the devotees like that. So we should come to realize Krishna, and when we can meet Krishna, we have to ask him or pray to him, glorify him, and then ask only for pure devotional service. And then we will be able to completely fix ourselves as servants of the Supreme Lord. We have so many examples of this. Srila Prabhupada is one example. Completely fixed in the service of the Supreme Lord. Narada Muni, always chanting the glories of the Lord. Satatam Kirtayantaman Yatantas Chalita Vata Namas Chantas Jamam Nikyan how to mute that. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, and these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. They are fixed in service to the Supreme Lord. We may sometimes be realizing that this is the nicest thing to be the servant of the Supreme Lord, and then we fall back, and then we have harboring maybe in the heart of different things. So by patience, we have to persevere in our endeavor to please the Supreme Lord and eventually become completely fixed in the service of the Lord. Okay, maybe I give a short class today. Somebody has some comments or questions? Yeah.
We often see that we are humbled by the material nature, we put it into stressful condition, and then we like very much seek shelter and feel very small. But then when the stress is relieved, then there's room for the false ego to pop up again.
Yeah.
So how do we like hold on to these realizations and not just so they come and go?
Yeah, I also wonder this. But I know one answer is that we may be we are maybe absorbed in our own our own situation, our own consciousness, our own performance, but actually we should move our attention to that there are so many people to be helped, and it is Krishna's service which is most important, and so there's so much to do actually for a devotee. So we should, instead of being absorbed in ourselves, we should be absorbed in the service and trying to help other people or other devotees, something like that. Maybe you have some answer to this question.
I was thinking about this. Of course, there's also this question that someone, was it Janu asked?
No, because I mean,
Okay. That it was a question why, since I have such a desire to and why doesn't Krishna empower me? I guess, but isn't the answer also that, actually, if my desire really was that only, I really want to help people, then Krishna probably would empower me, but he doesn't, because actually I may have that desire, but actually my real desires or so many other desires are there. I get distracted by desire for myself to enjoy. I want to, I want to feel the prestige of, being empowered, being expert, or enjoy the result, or I'm lazy. But it all comes back to, well, the desire is not really. There's some desire,
Yeah.
but it's not the complete desire. So I don't know if that's also related to that. I mean, we are in the, we suddenly experience little on, if you talk about book distribution, the happiness of just serving like that. But so then we can maybe, and then we think, I just want to do that. But then again, we have other desires. We don't stay in the fire all the time. And these are desires that cover us over. So this other desire becomes kind of, just fades into the background like that.
But your question was also like,
How can
that we are humbled sometimes by different circumstances. Body is not working and this and that. And so then we become humble. And then how to keep that humility. And this is a development of knowledge. We have to understand that we are spirits beyond the body and mind, and connected with the Supreme Lord, and part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So we have to have developed knowledge in order to keep that humility.
one has to be strict when one's practice and sadhana.
Yeah.
It's one has to be quite disciplined. I mean, if one becomes distracted into too many other things, or it takes quite, isn't it? I mean, it's quite a concept.
Niyamagara, one should follow the regulatory principles, not for the sake of following them, only following, but and not be rejecting the rules and regulations, and acting whimsically and like that, independently. So one has to do this regulatory principles and sadhana in the right way, and then by keeping that determination, utsaha, nishtya, vairat, tata, karma, prabhata, this first one,
enthusiasm is the first thing.
yeah, enthusiasm and confidence that you will eventually realize Krishna, and determination.